Hi guys, my name is Judy and welcome to my channel. Today I thought it would be fun to check out the BookTube newbie tag. So with me today I have my little buddy, Archie. He's gonna be my little partner through all of this. I set up his bed next to me so he has to stay here and keep me company. So I just have all of the questions pulled up on my iPad right here and we're just gonna go through them. So let's just get right into it. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? This channel actually was like a decision that came out of the pandemic. We've been home for a really long time with a lot of time to spare. So like long story short, basically I started using TikTok for the first time in July and I discovered Book Talk on there, which then led me to the BookTube community on YouTube. And I was so excited to discover a community of people who genuinely loved books and talking about them and sharing their ideas and having like actual fun discussions about them. And for me, like there's no one really like that I can talk to books about in my real life. Instead, for the past several months, I've literally just been torturing my boyfriend by forcing him to sit down and listen to me talk and ramble and rant about books pretty much every day, and I feel so bad for the guy. He doesn't even like books really, like he doesn't read books on his own time. And so instead I thought it would be fun to actually make a YouTube channel where I can kind of find my people and talk about the books that I love or hate or whatever, just my thoughts on them. So yeah, that's pretty much how this channel came to be. The second question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? I'm not really sure how to answer this one because I don't really know if there's anything that new or cool or unique or even that interesting about me. I'm a pretty average normal person. Like I'm not a super creative person, so I'm not sure. I honestly just kind of created this channel to be able to connect with people who have common interests and make fun videos, like fun to me, which is basically just talking about books in general, and things like that. So yeah, I can't really say as a selling point, wow, I'm really not doing a good job of selling myself.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
But yeah, sorry to say, I can't really say with 100% surety that there's anything that special or unique about me that separates me from the other hundreds of booktubers that are out there. So moving on to question number 3, it says, what are you most excited for about this new channel? And I mean, I feel like I said it a million times already in this video, but the chance to connect with people and talk about books that I love or I hate or just have any kind of thoughts and opinions on. Because in my personal life, I only really know like one person who actually reads for fun, and our tastes are completely opposites. Like she really likes contemporaries and thrillers and mystery and things like that, and I actually don't read any of those really. I enjoy fantasy. I like really lighthearted things. I like anything that's just fun and whimsical, and she likes thought-provoking books, so clearly she's the smart one out of the two of us. But because our interests are so different, we don't really have the opportunity to talk about shared interest in books or anything like that. So yeah, that was a big motivator for me to start this channel, and honestly the main reason why I'm super excited, and just hopefully make some new friends out there. I mean, it's hard when you're an adult to get out of like your immediate bubble, so it'd be cool to just make new friends with people who have similar interests. So the next question is, why do you love reading? And this is actually a question that I don't think I've ever really considered before. Like I've been reading for as long as I can remember, since I was really young. Books have always just come very naturally to me in my life. I've loved reading for as long as I can honestly remember. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like it comes down to a very simple fact. It just makes me very happy. I guess if I had to elaborate on that just a little bit more, it would be, I love falling into really beautifully crafted worlds, brand new worlds that just came from the mind of someone creative, and feeling like I'm exploring some new place I've never heard of or never been to before, with characters who, as you read the book, whether it's a standalone book or a series, you really get to know them and their personalities and all of the surrounding characters and their lives, and just feel like they're real and kind of feel like you become their friend or something. So yeah, I guess I just love that aspect of it. So yeah, I guess that's my answer to that. Ooh, number 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? Now, this is actually pretty funny. So I said at the beginning of the video that I got into reading because of Book Talk and BookTube, but initially it was Book Talk that really got me into reading again, and that was actually because I was seeing a ton of videos for the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J Maas. I'm sure literally everyone on BookTube is tired of hearing about this book series, so I won't go into it too much. But basically I had watched a ton of videos where ACOTAR was just coming up over and over. And as I kind of paid a little bit more attention and heard about what the story was about, it actually did sound like something I'd be really interested in. And while I used to read a ton growing up, it's been actually several years since I've really read consistently. So I just thought, you know what, I have so much time on my hands, why not check out this book and see if it's any good, really? And so I picked up the book, ended up picking up the other 3 books in the series immediately after and binging the entire series so quickly. I literally read all 4 books in a week or less because I was that in love with it. And it's actually funny because after I finished that series, I was craving more, so I ended up going on this crazy Sarah J Maas binge, and I read all of her other fantasy series. So after that, I picked up the first book in the Crescent City series, the only one that's out right now, House of Earth and Blood, which is actually still to this day my favorite book of all time. And then I picked up the entire Throne of Glass series, and I completely just went through the entire series so quickly, book after book after book. And if you guys know, those books are long. Some of the books are 500-600 pages. They are long boys, but I absolutely loved all of them. So the A Court of Thorns and Roses series were the books that got me into reading again, and then the rest of all of Sarah J Maas's books really solidified my love for reading again. So yeah. So question number 6 says, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Honestly, I feel like I'm mostly curious how everyone, I guess, got their start as well. So for me, from the beginning, I've had to learn how to use an editing software that I've never used before, and Photoshop, and all these different apps that seem really intimidating and complex, and that I would never be able to figure out if my boyfriend wasn't actually already proficient at using all of these for his job. So I'm really curious how you guys kind of got your start and how you figured it all out, because I feel like without his help, it would have been 10 times, 50 times harder for me, and the quality of my videos would be so much worse because it would just be me Googling everything every 5 seconds and putting together just a crappily pasted video. So the next question is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? So I feel like for most people, this is probably the easiest question to answer because there's a lot of fears that come with starting a brand new channel. The obvious ones are that it's scary to put yourself out there on the internet for everybody to see, complete strangers to just freely judge you as they will, because we all do that. And 2, how to actually create content and videos that people are gonna watch. But for me, I would say the thing that I'm kind of worried about the most would be that I don't really read books that are super current all the time. I only just started reading again this year in August, and I'm really behind on a lot of really popular books. And while that's not everything, I also don't know when books are coming out currently. I don't keep track of that kind of stuff because I just don't have any real interest or knowledge in how to keep tabs with that kind of stuff. So I guess it's just not being current enough for people to be interested in. A lot of the books that I read are just random books from whenever they were published. That doesn't matter to me. So I guess I kind of worry that if I'm not reading popular current books that everybody's talking about, that everybody wants to know about, am I relevant at all? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's one of those things where you kind of have to see how things go. So I recorded the last 3 questions of this tag already, and it turns out I didn't actually record anything because when I went to check back, nothing recorded. Oh my god. So now I'm gonna have to do it again.
What?
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 Okay, so question number 8, when did you start reading? So like I mentioned earlier in the video, I've been reading for pretty much as long as I can remember. Books have always just very naturally been a big part of my life. So I can't remember the first book that I read or the books that got me interested in reading when I was little, but I can say that when I was younger, one of my fondest memories of reading is my mom would take all of my siblings and I to the library pretty much once a week. So I would always borrow at least 10 books because 10 was the the max that the library let you borrow, and then I would sometimes use like my siblings' cards to borrow even more, and I would go through those like every week or every other week. So I guess that was really what got me into reading when I was little, and then that continued from elementary school through junior high and the beginning of high school. But I feel like with most people with high school reading, like the required reading and all of that, the way that they make you analyze the books and the books that they choose for the required reading, it kind of takes that interest of reading away, and that's exactly what it did for me. So for the majority of high school and well after, I didn't pick up a book really willingly for a really long time, up until August of this year. As I've said many and multiple times in this video, August of this year. The next question is, where do you read? And the pretty much only answer to that question is my bed. I spend 99.99% of my time, whether it's reading or not, usually reading, in my bed. When it was actually warmer outside, I used to love reading out on the balcony because it would give me a chance to have fresh air, and it's a really nice setup that we have out there with the lights, and we have a patio table, and it's just really comfortable. But since it's gotten pretty cold, I can't be out there for long periods of time, so it's not really worth the setup and all of that. And I don't like reading in the living room because my boyfriend actually works in the main space of our apartment, and he has like a million calls a day, so he is just constantly talking to people, and that's actually very jarring for me to hear other people talk while I'm trying to read. So it's best for me to just kind of hole up in the bedroom in my very comfortable, lovely bed where I can just stay and read for long periods of time. Like if nobody disturbs me, I will just read the entire day away. Like sometimes, no, a lot of times, I almost forget to eat because of that. Like if he wasn't coming in to remind me, I just would miss all of my meals because I usually am so enraptured and involved with whatever book I'm reading at the time. So finally, for the last question, it says, what kind of books do you like to read? And I'm actually currently in a very big like fantasy mood, like I have been since I started reading again. I've almost exclusively read fantasy books since I started reading, and I have to say I'm still not sick of it. I love it so much. And that's pretty much any type of fantasy. So YA fantasy, new adult, and middle grade, anything really, like children's fantasy. I just love all of it. I also love historical fiction, some historical fiction, and mythology. I actually used to read a lot of mythology, specifically like Greek mythology when I was younger. I love still reading the original stories, and even more so reading adaptations and retellings of those original stories. So it's really, really cool to see that my interests have still stuck with me since I was a kid. And I also enjoy reading some romance, not like super trashy romance, like no shame on that, because I had a huge trashy romance phase when I was like reading in like my early 20s and stuff, but it's not really my thing now. I mean more kind of cutesy romance, I guess. I really enjoy fluffy romance nowadays, so there's some of that, as well as some YA contemporary. It's very particular the kind of contemporary I like, because for the most part, contemporary is usually just following somebody's life and that's it. And for me, I'm like, why would I want to read a book about somebody's very normal average life when I could read about fairies, or somebody married to a fairy, or somebody who wants to be a fairy, or anything with fairies really, because fairies are superior. So yeah. So yes, we have finally reached the end of this tag. I have answered all 10 questions, and I hope that this gave you guys a chance to get to know me a little bit better. And I would love, honestly, to know if you guys have answered any of these questions, if you have your own channels where you've made these videos, or if you want to just answer them in the comments. That would be so fun to see your guys' response. This is honestly really fun to record and really like think about these questions, because a lot of them I never really gave any thought before. So yeah. My little buddy here, you awake? Yeah. From me and my little pal who helped me answer the questions, he was very supportive on the side. You guys didn't really see, but he was very supportive. Of course, he gets a big old treat after this for sitting patiently by me the entire time. So from the two of us, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!